Switch off
Same
your
here.
mics, please. Switch off your mics. I've recorded it. So this session is also getting uploaded on YouTube and it's going to the upper management also. So please switch off. Your name just comes out there. Okay, switch off this your mic. Okay. Derive an expression for entering current. So what you have is that yesterday we saw the bar current of the induction machine, which we calculated it and we told it has to be 0.85%. That is 85% of the mean stator current. It happens to be around 0.85. This is 85%. So 85 divided by 100 would come around 0.85 into, this is for three phase. So this is basically Zs by Ts. Zs is equal to 6 times Ts. And why this is 6 times Ts means because it's a three phase induction motor, and in a one turn is equal to 2 times Ts. Now it's a three phase, so 3 into 2 times Ts. So these are what, this is the mmf, and this is the stator slots per pole. So now we have to consider the end ring current. So what is this end ring current? This is basically the stator winding which we are connecting in an induction motor, which is connected to the main supply. So that is one of the reasons also when we are discussing induction motors, or for that matter transformer. So it is a singly fed machine because you're feeding it from the input side. You're not feeding it from the output side. The output side you are simply connecting it to a load. But when you are considering your synchronous machine, you see that a synchronous machine is having a DC field exciter, and it is also having a separate AC supplier. So that machine is not singly fed machine, but this is a singly fed machine. So the ending current basically is, the stator winding is three phase distributed winding, and when you are feeding a supply to it, it produces a rotating magnetic field. So this rotating magnetic field, what it does is, this rotating magnetic field induces EMF in the rotor bars. These EMF in the rotor bars will result into circulating currents. So we have a figure which I have taken from this book. So this is my end ring current. So this, you can see this figure A. How it happens is that this is the figure A, wherein here you can see this figure A shows a developed cage windings under two pole pitches. Pole pitch would mean the length of distance between two poles. Yeah, please switch off your mic. And figure B shows the sinusoidal distribution of EMF in the bar over two pole pitches. Sinusoidal distribution of the over two pole pitches. And this is the sinusoidal distribution over the two pole pitches. So this is a pole pitch. You can see pole, it is a complete circle. See, from here to here, this is 180 degree. From here to here, this is another 180 degree. So this is a 360 degree between two pole pitches. So this is the sinusoidal stuff, and you can see over here. And this shows a cage winding under two pole pitches, and figure B shows the sinusoid of EMS in the bars over two pole pitches. Now, figure C shows the distribution of the current in the rotor bars and end rings. So this is about what, so now how the distribution of the current happens. So distribution of the current, see, this is an AC induction motor. So in an AC machine, there is one path of go and another path of return. So you can see here, this is the path of go and another path of return. Similarly, you have a go path, you have a return path. You have a go path and then return path. You have a go path, and here you can see there is a return path. Go path, return path. So this is the distribution of the current in the end ring winding. And finally, your figure D shows the sinusoidal waveform of rotor bar currents and the end ring currents. Basically, now when we are talking about the end ring current, so this end ring current is the current that is established in the rotor bars. It is basically the maximum current, or we can say the RMS value of the current that gets established in the rotor bars. So you can see the rotor bars if you be in the classroom, or you can, if you will download from Google also. I'll show you in the next class. So you see the squirrel cage motor. Why it is named that cage is that it has a, like in the older generations, usually they used to have a squirrel shaped cage in which they used to put these people for death penalties. If you, some of you might have visited some museums in Mahabalipuram or Pondicherry, there that French colonies and all, they used to make like that. From there, this particular name, that squirrel cage, came. Although it is not necessary in this electrical machine design, but just a trivial information I had to give. So now the most important thing over here is that how do we calculate about it? So you have seen these figures. Please carefully, because see the figure one more time. So this is the this is the end ring current. These are the rotor bars, and these are end rings. See, in a rotor, at the end of the rotor, you will see in the middle there is a cylindrical shaft. At the end there is this end ring. This is about that ring. It would be on both the sides of the rotor. Okay, you have rotor, in between you have a shaft, on the side you have a ring, another side you have a ring, and over the ring you have the rotor windings. And then this rotor arrangement, including with the shaft, is placed inside the stator arrangement. That is basically the principle of an induction machine, wherein you are giving supply to the stator winding. Once you are giving supply to the stator winding, what happens is that a flux is getting developed due to the voltage which you have given, and your flux depends upon the voltage, and because of that flux, it in turn induces induction, and that causes a relative motion between your this rotor and stator, and that results into motion of the induction machine. So now we are interested how to calculate this. Now it is observed at the points where the current is maximum in the bars. See, current, where is current maximum in the bars? The current would be maximum in the bars, okay, but at the end rings, the current would be almost equal to zero. You can notice at the end rings we are short circuiting the end rings. In the end rings, if I show you a rotor of an induction machine, at the end rings we are also shorting it. One book is there, Electrical Machines by Chapman. I'll be showing you in the tomorrow session, wherein I will show you the induction motor. It would be much better if we had the real class. We could have I could have brought the equipment from the lab or taken you to the lab to see that. Okay, so now we have limitations and restrictions. So the pictures I'm going to show you, because only thing is that I understand a machine you can only understand once you see what you are learning and what you are going to derive. Once you can visualize it, then it becomes very easy to understand. But now we are restricted with pictorial demonstrations only we can do. So please bear with me. Tomorrow I will try to get some pictures and explain you in a much more better way, and try to create whatever best it is possible for your understanding. Now today's class is mostly I wanted to give you this definition because it was short definition, and then I want to derivation, sorry, then I wanted to check your analysis, like about the yesterday's problem which I had given you, and I wanted to see how you have done. So now it is observed that at points where the current is maximum, that is in the bars, the current is zero in the end rings. The end ring current is maximum when the current in the bars is zero. So you can see both the things. Now there is end ring and current in bars. So when bar current is less, the end ring current would be maximum. So let's consider a group of rotor bars under one pole pitch. So that rotor bars under one pole pitch, and one half of the rotor bars would send current to an end ring in one direction, and the other half would send current to the end ring in the other direction. So because you have two end rings, right? You have end ring 1, end ring 2. So one half is sending the current in one direction. You can see the arrow is in one direction. Another half is sending to the other direction. So this is like that. If it is starting in one direction, the other half is starting in another direction. Then again, one half is sending in one direction, you can see over here, and the other half is sending it in another direction. Okay, so if this is start point is here, so if this is the direction of the bars, then till, see, this is one cycle. Okay, this is one half cycle, this is one complete cycle. In one half cycle, because this is your AC sinusoidal voltage in the positive half cycle. If the direction of the rotor current is in the upward direction, can you see upward direction? Then in the another half cycle, it is in the downward direction. So this is basically, this is the, you can see the rotor, this is the bar current. So it is, the bar current is almost maximum here, and but the bar current here is not there, here it is not there, and it is minimum here, and it is maximum here. So what we have to study is that how do we go about this calculation. Obviously we saw the current yesterday from one derivation that I had given you. So I have also shared the PDF of it, wherein I have mentioned my IB is equal to 0.85 into 6 times TS. Yes, this is basically 3 times ZS into SR, where ZS is the number of conductors, and this is basically ampere turns. TS into IS is your MMF, so which we have calculated even yesterday. So now we are interested, how do we go about this? So consider a group of rotor under one pole pitch, which we have considered. So one half of the rotor bars would send current to an end ring in one direction, and the other half would send current to the end ring in another other direction. So current is not maximum in all the bars under one pole. So at the same time as it varies sinusoidally, hence the maximum value of current in the end ring is the average current of half the bars under one pole. So you can see here what I mentioned from this, because this again I'm going to download this PDF in the Google Classroom, from where you can easily download it. So what it is
Okay.
mentioning, is that current is not maximum. Please switch off your this thing. Current is not maximum. So here you can see current is not maximum under all. So it is varying sinusoidally. So as the sine wave varies, current is increasing. So here it is at this instant, the magnitude of current is here. At this instant, the magnitude is here. At this instant, magnitude. So it is varying sinusoidally. Accordingly, it is varying here. So how do we take, how much current is this? So how many points magnitudes we are having? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if we want the current in this particular thing, we will take the maximum value of the current IB and divide by average of that current. So we'll get an average value of the current. Here also we can similarly find out the average value of the current. But we are interested in calculating the end ring current. So in order to get this end ring current, what we are supposed to do is that, so uh, how do we go about this is, what we do is that we consider our average current. So our average current would be equal to maximum value of current in the end ring would be equal to, see, it would be equal to number of bars per pole. So how many number of bars are there per pole, that is divided by 2 into current per rotor bar. So this current per rotor bar would be your average current, IB into AB. Okay, so you know that your average current in, and relationship between average current and maximum current is, you can establish I max is equal to how much, I average divided by 2 pi. So that is in the basic electrical only, when you have studied the different relation between your average current and maximum current. For example, your IRMS is equal to I max by root 2. Okay, similarly your I average happens to be 0.637 IB max. If you do 2 divided by pi, you will get around 0.637. So that is understood, that you have studied in the basics these things. If you have not studied also, or if you have forgotten, I'm making videos constantly, because now there is free time. I will be doing on this thing also, basic electrical also, because what I find is that the students are lacking in basic understanding of electrical engineering, basic KVL, KCL, then the phasors, other things. Some of you are doing good, some of you don't require it, some of you are very well versed also, but a few of them, if it is beneficial for them, I'll be doing it. So here you see IB max is equal to number of bars per pole by 2. So number of bars per pole will depend upon the total number of the stator conductors, this SR divided by P divided by 2 into IB AB. So this P will go down, SR by 2P. This I average will express in terms of I maximum. This is I average would be 0.637 IB max or 2 by pi. 2 by pi, if you do, that will come around same value. And now you have the maximum value. So this IB max, in terms of RMS, if you have to establish, your IRMS is equal to IB max by root 2. In another terms, if you have to put the RMS value here, because usually we will take the RMS value, so this happens to be root 2 IB. Instead of IB max, I'm writing IRMS. IRMS is IB max by root 2. So IB max by root 2 is equal to IRMS. So IB max is equal to root 2 into IRMS. So this root 2 into IB is that value only, this IRMS value. This IB max root 2 into IB is that value only. And another thing is SR by 2P is as it is, 2 by pi is as it is. Now see here also I mentioned IB is equal to IB max by root 2, as the bar current is sinusoidal. Then IB max I have expressed in terms of that IB max is equal to root 2 IB, that I have substituted here. Now when I am calculating is this 2 will cancel. Okay, then I am left with SR IB root 2 pi into P. So since the entering current varies sinusoidally, RMS value of entering current is, see, RMS value of entering current is like all the things which I have already mentioned here. So finally I arrive at this expression SR IB by pi into P. So this is the expression for my entering current. If you are having doubt at any instant in this calculation, or you can please ask me. Are you having any doubt? Hello?
No, sir.
This calculation is there. It's very clear. Here also see IE now at the entering current. Now this was the total current. Now at the entering current, I needed the RMS value. Okay, this is the maximum value. So entering current, I need the entering RMS value. So what I do, divide by root 2. So this IRMS value will be divided by root 2. Root 2 cancels. Hence in the end I am getting SRIB pi by SRIB pi by P. So this was the expression for the entering current. So yesterday one problem I had given you. So that problem we will discuss a bit. So yesterday's problem, length of air gap. So how many of you have done?
Me, sir.
Yeah. See, this was
Done, sir.
done. Huh? So this was determine the diameter. Can you share your screen with me, please? Who has done and who's confident? And tell your name so that we'll check.
So we done the problem in the, you send that note, sir. Take that
Okay,
reference
okay.
and we do, sir.
Okay. You have done in that. Okay.
Yes,
So
sir. We
you
share
have the
that
note.
notes.
No. You okay? Declare marks. I will be declaring. It's not like that. But I want to ask you also, because I want to be confident whether you people are understanding or not. See, determine the diameter or length of stator core of a 70 HP, 415 volt, 50 hertz, 3-phase, 6-pole stator connected, star connected. This is star connected induction motor for which specific electrical loading is 32,000 ampere conductor. Full load efficiency is 90%. Power factor is okay. Now I want to ask you. I'm seeing how many of you are online. I'll ask individually. Yeah, Naik, can you hear me? Yeah, you, Viramani, you just mute your this thing, mic. Just mute your Naik. Naik, hello, Naik, and Naik, Fakarish and Naik.
Fakiresh.
Yeah. Yes. Can you hear me?
Fakiresh.
Yeah. Please.
Yes, sir.
Santosh.
Here.
Fakiresh.
Yeah. Just switch off your mode. So now you tell me what value of your you have taken. Yeah, Fakresh. Yes, yes. I want to talk to you. Fakresh, unmute your this thing. Fakresh and Nayak. Hello, I'm not marking you present. Fakresh and Nayak. Suchitra BS. Suchitra.
There, sir.
Suchitra, are you present? See, simply you are just logging in.
His
It's not.
mic's not working, sir.
Mics is not working. Huh? How do you know?
She told
My,
me, sir.
How she told when mic is not working?
It's WhatsApp, sir.
Okay, okay, okay. Anil Kumar. Anil Kumar.
Sir,
Yeah, you tell me in this problem what I am presenting you, Anil Kumar. What is the value
sir,
of this phase voltage we have to take? It is telling 415 volt. So shall we take 415 volt or we have to take some other value?
sir, we have to take 415 by root 3 because star connected, sir.
Okay, okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Good. So we have to take 450. Yeah, switch off your
Thank you, sir.
mute here. Yeah. So you mute here. Okay. So this is star connected. We have to take 415 by. Okay. Now one more thing is there. Who is there online? I have to see. Yes. Santosh. Santosh.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, 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 yeah. You tell me one thing. In the problem which is in front of your screen.
Yeah.
So you tell me we have to take the value. This is showing 70 HP.
Yes,
So
sir.
so we have to take the value in HP only, or we have to change some value.
So I want to convert, sir.
How we will convert
HP means
this 70
please,
HP? How we will convert into kilowatt? Yeah, 1 HP means. Yeah, stop chit chatting. I want Santosh only.
1 minute, sir. 1 minute, sir.
So 1 HP is how much?
Sir, 735.5.
One is
725, sir.
7. See, earlier days it used to be 746 when I was a young kid. Now God,
Yes, sir.
now
Sir,
horse has become weak. Now
Horsepower, yes, sir.
now horses all over the world have become weak. Now
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
yes, sir.
now that
Now 735.
now 735 only. Earlier it was to
Yes,
be
sir.
746. So
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
735.5.
735.5. So
Yeah, exact value, sir.
that also you have to take into consideration.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
now you tell me one thing. What will be the value of the stator slots? Would it be it's a large induction machine or a small induction machine?
Large induction.
How you say it's a large induction machine?
It's KV rating so much. I know, sir.
You just stop. Santosh, you stop. I'm going to Rajat. You just
Sir.
unmute. Yeah, Rajat. So yeah, he
Ah,
said
sir.
it's a large induction machine. How does it
Ah, sir.
look like a large induction machine? You give your reason.
Sir, it's 70 HP motor, sir. The power is high, so that the motor is also big size, large size.
So 70 HP. How much HP it should be for a big size and how much HP it should be for small size?
Sir, above 10 HP, it's big size, sir.
Very good.
I
Good,
think.
good. Oh yeah, stop. Not. I think I have taught you. I have given you a class wherein I have said also greater than 10 kilowatt. You should you use carefully this statements. You have to be confident because you are becoming an engineer and you cannot speak like a layman. So it's not like I'm not trying to say dictate terms to you, but I'm trying to make you learn because tomorrow in the future you're a product of ours. So you should be very well versed. So we can switch off, mute your mic. So
Sir,
Unnati,
my answer is correct or wrong, sir?
correct only. Your answer is correct.
You
So
are
I
right,
thought,
Rajat.
yeah. Yes. So Unnati,
Thank you, sir.
so switch off your mic. Yeah. Unnati, now you tell me one thing. In this particular problem which you are seeing is your ampere per conductor is 32,000. So your ampere per conductor is 32,000 and your full load efficiency is 90%. So what is this L by Z ratio? In that L by Z ratio, what is the value of Z? What is Z? See, core length we know. Length. Pole pitch is what? Pole pitch would mean, no, you unmute your mic, no problem. Pole pitch would mean pi d by pi d by t. See now, now I will tell you. You unmute your mic. Now let me tell you. Let me tell you, everyone. See, because I have kept this session, I'm calling out your names, and according to your answers, I'm marking you for the grade. So those people who are absent here, so if this is an assignment for 10 points or 5 points, only your submission will carry 2.5 points, and rest 2.5 you are having here. Those of who are absent, I'll be giving them 0, that is for sure. And rest who are not answering or are not able to answer, so accordingly we have to decide. So minimum we can give something, or and those of you who are correctly answering, I'm going to give all the points. So now that you are not knowing this, so in the next session onwards, please be careful and please be present, because there is no way I can enforce that whether you are listening to my lecture or not. And I'm not like I don't want you to force also to listen. I can understand 9 to 8, it's very 9 to 5, it's very difficult sitting in front of the computer or your mobile screen and concentrating. But what is the fun in it when we are delivering a lecture and you are not responding, and it's not going fruitful. So we have to make every session fruitful. So hence I had devised this one of the techniques. Now for the time being, you please switch off your mobile. So I will be sharing the answer to this problem. Similar to it, I'll be giving problem in your Google Classroom. You please check after I finish the session. I'm going to give 1 or 2 problems similar to it. See, one thing, yesterday somebody told to me, previous year's question papers, sir, you give and we can solve and we will pass. Definitely in previous 5-6 years papers, if you look at that, there's a good amount of chance that paper is going to repeat. But at times when some individual frames a paper, sometimes he does not go back to the previous year's paper, and he can frame any which way is possible depending upon the subject. Yes, everyone has certain amount of restrictions and limitations because the syllabus is same, so the questions do get repeated. But you have seen in the video papers, every time you get a surprise. So, and if you have only studied the previous year's question papers and have not understood the subject, then it is very difficult to pass the exam at times. Most of the time, 60 to 75% of the times it is there, definitely it will repeat. So we have to follow both the approaches. We have to solve the previous year's question paper also, but we have to also understand the question, like not mugging it, like understanding the concept from where it is coming, why this thing is happening, why that thing is happening. For that, I personally feel that the approach towards engineering should not be based upon mugging, should be based upon visualization, should be based upon seeing the thing, seeing the transformer up front, seeing the induction motor, feeling the air gap. Basically, when I was a student, and most of the times in electrical engineering, it is said that it is very tough because we cannot see it. But yes, definitely we cannot see it, but we can visualize and feel it. Air also we cannot see, but we can visualize, we can feel it. The moment we learn the trick to feel the electrical engineering, we can also see it also. Then it will be very easy. But if we are talking upon the surface level and not going into the depth of the subject and not learning it just for the sake of the examination, it will be very boring. 1 page, 2 page you open, you will be feeling sleepy. If you open a video related to electrical engineering or any subject, you cannot watch more than 5 minutes because you cannot relate to it. But if you open some song music, Kannada music or some rock music, or whatever, you are able to see it for a longer time. There is some psychology behind it. It is not for you, also for everyone. The thing is that you cannot feel it. If you cannot feel it, if you cannot synchronize with it, so your mind rejects the idea of studying. So it takes 21 days for any habit to be formed. So what I'm insisting you is, instead of my these regular classes going on and everything, 21 days now you are a lot of time with you, so you inculcate habit of reading any book instead of watching a video. Instead of like I'm giving some video on YouTube or I'm sharing this thing on YouTube, it will only benefit you when you personally read some good book. Reading book in electrical engineering or in any field you can surpass. You will get the inside feel. Read some good books like Electrical Machines is there. You can read a book called as Stephen Chapman, or your basic electrical engineering is there. You can read this book from Sadiko. I can give you the PDF of that book. You can it is
Okay, sir,
much,
please send it, sir.
yeah, it is much
We
better.
didn't have books, sir.
Yeah, I can send you the PDF, because this is the time you have to really get the feel of electrical engineering, get the basics, to know the what is your frequency domain, what is your Laplace transform, what is your first order differential equations, the elementary mathematics,
Second order.
second order differential equations, your RC networks, another thing, those things, your KVL, KCL, your algebraic, your differential equations. These form the core of electrical engineering. So these parts, if you are not good at, so it will become very difficult. Now I'm going to share. Now in between I have to talk, because what is my purpose is not, see, just deliver a lecture and okay, take the attendance and go. It will not help, because our main purpose is that each one of you should be learned and then go and perform. But there are some essential skills that are required. So here, see, we can see certain basics. Okay, 70 HP, 415, 50 hertz, three phase. So essentially, we have to have some basics to solve this particular problem. So I'll be solving now this problem. I'll be sharing you. So already this problem I had shared one link with you. Shared one PDF file. I think from that PDF file only I felt this problem to be good. From that PDF file only I have taken this. So I'm just seeing whether that this problem is taken from that. I'll be just showing you from that book only, na Thara?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. One I have given you. I'll be just seeing to it, because I've not solved it, and here I cannot solve also, because I have to cannot write. So
Yes, sir.
so
Yes, sir.
so otherwise I would have solved it. I cannot write. So I have to download. Where is it?
We all have solved it, sir.
You have all have
Yes,
solved.
sir. We have, sir. Yes,
You
sir.
have you have understood.
Yes, sir.
So you have understood. No, some of you might not have understood. So certain points I will stress on. So how do you understood, like stator slots you have to calculate, and then the current is limitations is there. The limitations for the current is also there. So that part you have to, like he has mentioned, na, the current should not go beyond this particular point, and the slot dimensions also. Then how do you take the stator slot? That is the point there, na. Electrical engineering. What is this? Electrical machine design, na? Machine design. So electrical machine. I'll just electrical machine design. Okay. Paste. I'll just wait. Yeah. All of you have solved, huh?
Yes, sir.
What about that shell type transformer also? I'll be putting it in one or two day. Today I'll be putting, because transformers, some of you had been to Java class, output equation, and some main dimensions of transformers. One or two important problems are there in that. That also we have to see. So that also I will be putting soon, because I'm not having that some holder to hold, and in this lockdown time it becomes very difficult to make the video. From one hand I have to hold a mobile, another hand I have to use for the chalk and other things. So that's it. One second, I'm just searching that problem, where it is. Electrical machine by Raj. So yeah, Yes, this is it. Okay. So you are able to see something or no?
You
I
can see,
think
sir.
You can
you
see,
can
sir.
see you can see my computer screen, right?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. So you can see my computer screen. So okay. So you can see this notes. Hmm?
Transformer, yes, sir.
Okay, nice. So we'll go to that problem. Let's see where it is. I felt I was just going around and I felt these notes were good. You can study this also if you're not having a proper textbook. So
Sir,
because
page 99, sir.
page now, oh, you copied from that, huh?
No,
You
sir. I'm searching now, sir.
now you searched page 99. Okay, nice. Now, okay, yeah, you can miss 99. You have to understand also, na? Copying is not a big deal. You have to understand.
Yes, sir. Understanding is the main thing.
Main thing is the understanding. Okay, anybody can copy. So this was page 9. This is the problem. Yeah, somewhere where, yeah, here it is. Yes, 70 HP, 250 HP. No. Where is it? 3.5. So many problems are there. Huh? Page 99. Ah, 30 kV. Where we are close to it or circle
Sir, down you can see the page number, sir.
down we can see the page number.
124th page yours, sir, now.
I'm in one.
123rd.
Okay. Wait.
Ah, sir, 99.
Now we came around, huh? Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes.
This is the problem, right? No.
Yes.
No, sir. 3 pages.
No.
No, sir.
3 pages.
It's 95 now, sir.
Now it is 95, huh?
Yeah, 94.
Okay. Nice. Okay. Got to know. Okay. Yes. From here it will come. Determine the main dimensions of stator core stator slots. This is one problem, one type of problem. Okay. So find the value of stator. So this is 7.5. That is 70 HP, right? This is
Yes, sir.
yeah. This is the problem. Okay.
Yeah, this problem, sir.
This problem it is there. Determine the diameter on length of stator. See, many problems are there in this, and many problems are solved also. So you can try and you can see the solution also. But I'll be giving you some questions which are not in obviously in this particular thing. I'll be designing it today, and I'll be giving it to you, and try to solve that also, because you know what, you have to understand also.
Okay.
So see, determine the diameter on length of stator core of a 70 HP 415 volt 50 hertz 3-phase 6-pole star connected induction motor for which this specific electrical loading is 32,000 ampere conductor. So you have this question, so everybody has read it. So how do you go about the given path? Also I have to I have given. So D and L value initially, and this is the number of stator conductors, and this is the loading factor, so ZSS. So obviously you have this input kVA is 0.746 into HP efficiency cos y. So this is not the problem. So you get this value of this is around this. You have the winding factor. Whenever it is not given, you assume 0.95 or 0.96. Whenever kW is not given, you will assume. Then you have this output coefficient C naught is equal to 1.11 pi square. You can write this 11 also, or you can write this 1.11 pi square. BAV, is it given BAV AC kW in 10 power minus 3? I don't think BAV is given in this problem. BAV is given? BAV, I think, no.
No, sir.
No, BAV is not given. So BAV we have to calculate. So BAV, how we can calculate BAV? BAV is given in this problem. BAV is given 0.51. Okay, Weber per meter square.
It's a 0.51.
0.51 is given. So we can substitute these values BAV ampere conductor, and we get the value of output coefficient. Now the synchronous speed ns happens to be 2f by p. So this 2f frequency is 50 hertz, p is number of poles given 6, so it happens to be 16.67 rps. Okay, so now the volume of the machine would be d square L is equal to input kVA by constant, which we have seen. So input kVA you calculated, constant you calculate, so you got the value of d square L. So it states one thing, your L by Z ratio also it says L by Z is equal to 1. So you can see L by Z is equal to 1. So Z is equal to pi D by P. Pi D by P. P value you know, pi value you know. So you can put substitute here and you can get a relationship between L and D. So here you have, see, given L by Z is equal to 1. So Z is equal to pi D by P. So you can get this value, a relationship between L and D. So you can write your L is equal to 0.5223 times D, or 0.5223 times D into D is equal to D square is equal to D cube. We get value of D from this equation. Again, back substitute this value of D which you have arrived. This is 0.342 into 0.523. So you get the value of L. So you get the value of L and D. Now you want to know the maximum flux, that is from the output equation definition only. Yeah. Yes. Okay. Switch off your mic. Phi m is equal to BAV pi dl by P. So BAV is mentioned, pi value you know, D value you know, L value you know, P value you know. So you can calculate flux per pole. That happens to be 0.0169. Okay. 169. This is Weber. This is not AB. It's mistake, Weber. So again, now it is a star connected. Earlier, last time it was delta connected, so we have taken it as it is. But now you have to take that line voltage, because your E line would be equal to √3 E phase. So your E line is how much? √3 E phase. So your E phase would be E line divided by √3. So this is your E line voltage, 415 divided by √3. If this is delta, so it would be same, but now it's star, so you have to be careful here. These are the things you have to be very careful when you are doing any problem. So now the second thing is that the number of stator turns per phase happens to be from this particular formula. Now here one important consideration is here. Usually when we are seeing any problem, the number of stator turns per phase, we are writing it at ES 4.44 F5M kW. But here what he has given is that number of paths also he has given is A is equal to 2. So that also we have to consider. So that's why I had taken this problem. So the number of paths A also you have to incorporate in the numerator. See here, A is equal to 2 he has given. So that path also you have to incorporate in the numerator. So this happens to be your this value, and you get this value around 132. Exactly 132 I don't think you'll get some fraction, but you have to convert this, because number of turns will not be in fraction, because these are turns. So you have to take the next, or the closest integer value, that is 132 you have taken. Now same thing, once you have calculated the number of turns, straight away what you can do is that you can calculate how many number of stator conductors are required, because it's a three-phase machine. So I have told you in the last class also, you can straight away say that ZS is equal to 6 times TS. So ZS is equal to 6 into 132, so you get the value of 792. Now we have to, because we saw the HP value was high, so when induction machine has a high value, so you're not taking single layer winding, you are taking please switch off your mic. Yeah, please. So you are taking double layer winding. So once you are assuming the double layer winding, so your dimensions of the length would be around 1.5 to 2.5 millimeters. So here it is given in centimeter, it has to be in millimeter. Yeah, any doubts you are having? If you are having any doubts,
No,
please
sir.
ask. Then switch off your this thing, it is disturbing. So number of stator slots, now you know the circumference and length. So pi d by p. So d value you calculated, length you know, the upper length value you get 2.5. So you are getting value of 44. Okay. Now the upper value you are keeping 1.5, you are getting 73. So one thing you know that your this 44 and 73 is there, and your total number of paths, your conductors would be around 132. or this is 792. So your number of stator conductors should be between 44 and 73. It should be not be less than it. And your total number of conductors, your 6TS has to be 792. Okay. So accordingly, you will substitute the value in this number of stator slots formula. So number of stator slots is always, your Q value will be always greater than 2. It cannot be less than 2. It can be greater than 2 or equal to, but cannot be less than. So first value will put 3, because for 3 phase, okay, 3, and number of poles 6. This is number of poles, and this is the path. So this is 2, so 36. So is 36 possible? No, it's not possible. Why it's not possible? Because our lowest value is 44. It is lowest value is 44. Now let's take the next value. This is the value for Q. This 3, see, this 3 will remain as it is. This 6 will remain as it is. Only value which we are changing is the value of Q. So here also you are seeing 3 and 6 is the same, 3 and 6 is the same, 3 and 6 is the same. Only value that is changing is the value of Q. So this is what, this is 3 phase. This is what, this is the number of poles. This 3 is for this, P is for this number of poles. So number of poles we cannot change, phase we cannot change. Only what we can change is the number of stator slots. There is this QS value we can change. Now the another value are putting 3, we are getting 54. Okay, this 54 is lying between 44 and 73. For the time being, okay, this value can be considered. Now another value we are taking 4, it is 72. Okay, these 54 and 72 are both the valid candidates. Another value 5 we are keeping, it's coming 90, it's more than this. So now let's see, the one thing we calculated it 44 and 73, and here we saw 6TS happens to be 792. So let's see which is the best value. So suppose the SS may be 54 or 72. It can be either 54 or 72. Now number of stator slots per slot, ZSS, number of stator conductors per slot. What is ZSS? Number of stator conductors per slot. So when SS, this is number of stator conductors is 54. So ZSS would be equal to your 792. How you got the value of 792? 792 is your, this 6 times TS, this value, 6 times TS is 14. And when it is the 72, it is around 11, or it is between, when you see, it is like almost close to these values. So one thing is that first, it has also mentioned you the range of current it wants. The ampere loading should be around, in the problem you have to see, it is mentioning your ampere loading should not exceed this 550 amps. This is also a very important point. So once you know that, yes, you have these values, now you have to go for the current calculations. Now once you are going for the current calculations, see here, we can say safely assume we have these from the current calculations, input kVA which we have calculated 63.6 and in 10 power 3, ES value is there, A value is there, IZ is equal to this value. So this value, when we are going for the current calculations, we'll find a particular value of current. Now the slot loading is IZ into ZSS. What is ZSS? ZSS is stator slots per conductor. That is this either 14 or 10 value. Substitute the value of 14. Once we are substituting the value, we are getting 620.9. So this is definitely exceeding value. Similarly, we will substitute other values like these values, and we will see in which value we are getting. So here he has not solved the entire problem. You have just copied that problem. So the actual number of stator slots, what he is telling is that this happens to be 12 into 72 and or 10 into 72. So 720 and 869. So here the problem ends. So basically what he has done, he has not solved now the problem, he has not solved. What I want in the next class or in the assignment when you are coming, you understand what exact value should be for ZSS and IZ, and what stator slots, whether 10, 12, 14, what you have to substitute, and what value of ZSS you will take, so that your current rating should be less than 550 ampere per conductor. So this is the task for you. And one more thing is that whenever I'm asking you doubts cleared and all, because I knew this problem had some lacuna, that's why I gave you, and you simply copied and gave it to me. So it's not good. Thing is that you have to understand the concept. Today also I'm going. So here we'll be ending my class. So are you there, Viramani?
Yes, sir.
Hello?
All of that.
Yeah, all are there. So for tomorrow's class, you do one thing. You